public portion of the meeting at approximately 6:30. do Pledge of Allegiance, okay? Did you do it last time? Okay, let's go ahead and get, let's restart this city council meeting. So first of all, let me check in with the city attorney. Anything to report from closed session?
Yes, on item 3.1, the city council voted unanimously to initiate a suit related to an affordable housing agreement at 204 Hawkins.
Okay, thank you for that report. Okay, so council member, Vice Mayor, Gianda, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so we're going to move into the first public input session. This is the time for anyone to speak on an item that is not on the agenda tonight, but is within the jurisdiction of the council. Speaker cards are available in the lobby, so please complete them and bring them to our city clerk up here. And then when your name is called, please come to the podium, state your name and city for the record, and speak to the city council. If you're joining via Zoom, please click on the bottom of your screen to raise your hand. If you're joining us via Zoom using your cell phone, please press *9. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes with a maximum of 30 minutes per subject. Please note that state law prohibits the city council from discussing or taking action on any item. Do we have public comments?
Yes, Mayor. Our first speaker is Robin Pollard, to be followed by Jason Noble.
Okay.
Good evening. My name's Robin Pollard. 26 years ago, I came before this council and asked them about a community garden, the community garden on Park Hill, as a way of anchoring that land as public land, because there was a rumor in the neighborhood that it was going to be sold. And that's kind of precious property. It has WPA works when it was built by the Department of Forestry, and it's coming up on 100 years. So the garden, I was told to work with staff. And for 25 years, staff has ignored us, and we've just gardened. And this year, I asked about a leaky pipe, which put a spotlight on us. So now the city wants to run the garden at $25 per plot per person. Now, we've been using your water, but we also have been giving you value in that we take care of the property, we tell you when something's wrong, we don't ask for, we supply our own plants and soil, and we've looked after the property so that when the homeless decided to do the laundry, we screwed them away. When people decided to have water fights with the hoses, we stopped them from continuing. We have cared and managed the land. It's not always beautiful, but it is loved. So I just wanted to let you know that the first year they asked me for insurance for the garden, and it was $120 for the whole plot. So this idea of you charging $120 per gardener, and there's approximately 12 to 15 plots up there, depending on how you chop them up. I don't think government should be making money. And if anything, you should gladly be paying the water for the care that people have given. So I'm resigning. Don't call me when there's something going on at the community garden. Good night.
Thank you, Ms. Pollard. Next speaker?
Our next speaker is Jason Noble, to be followed by Scott McPhail.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Jason Noble. I'm an involved community member, but not with the day-to-day operations of the building and planning departments. Tonight, you're going to hear from just some of those who have been experiencing problems with these departments. Several months ago, I was invited to attend a meeting with Interim City Manager Pia, Assistant City Manager Powell, and Councilwoman Morales. There were about 10 of us asking for the city's help. We recognize Mr. Pia was an interim manager, and we also recognize Ms. Cortez just started her position today. Approximately 2 years ago, around 25 of us met with then City Manager Dave Marioni and newly hired Assistant Manager Powell to have a similar discussion. I'm here tonight to tell you it's only gotten worse, not better, even more so in the last 60 days. Please look at the faces in the room tonight. These are all locals, not Barry Swenson or KB Holmes or Meritage, but locals. We were born here, raised our families here, we went to school here, and we do business here. We don't deserve to be treated so badly by some of your staff. Did you know that some of these staff members are contradicting your very own policies of supporting economic development within our city? Some of the stories I have heard about small business being held up 6 to 12 months and longer trying to get their doors open is just wrong. These people are frustrated and I don't blame them. One of my major concerns is the health and safety of Hollister's residents. As you listen to some of the events about to be told, you can't help but realize people are already doing work without permits because of the length of the time they take to get them and the high cost. I'm asking you to please listen to their messages and then position things for change to be implemented. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Noble. Next speaker.
Our next speaker is Scott McPhail, to be followed by Kim McPhail.
Hello, Council. My name is Scott McPhail. I own 1785 San Felipe Road, which you're probably familiar with. That's where the new dispensary is supposed to be going in, which you guys sent me on a fool's errand to remove the red tag that shouldn't be red tagged. There's 2 issues that I was red tagged on, or my tenants were red tagged on, were actually approved in the building permit. And it's just been a show. So I don't even know what the hell to ask you guys or what to do. You know, my tenants have already vacated. I'm about to just give up on the project here in Hollister. And I mean, it's just basically fucked. Everything, Gabriel, Reynoso. I mean, I've been since I think it was December 3rd, or actually it was 6 months prior to that, you gave the dispensary 6 months to fix the red tag. I couldn't, the day after I went to go try to address all this, and I was blackballed 86 by Reynoso out of every building department, cannabis department, planning department. I wasn't allowed to even get any information about my own business, my own building, until I had to come to David Marioni. I don't know what he told you guys, but I was able to get a meeting a few months ago. But now that I go and submit my plans, I got to add sidewalks and fire hydrants, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of improvements that we didn't need before, but all of a sudden we need as of, 2 months ago. So again, you guys are fucked. Or whoever's running Gabriel, that DEI hire, you guys got to get rid of that dude. And Conan, he's a liar, And Kona and the police chief, that dude, him and his family have been human smuggling drug traffickers since 1972 when they got into this town. And you guys made him police chief, and then he's blackballing my ass because I used to sell his dope. He didn't become a police officer till he was 30 years old. By that time, he ran the dirt for his father and his family criminal business for 30 fucking years. And everybody knows in this town, and you must know, Pache, you're an old school New Hydra guy, family. You know what's going on. All these transplants don't know nothing. It's a shit show in this fucking town. And I just want to say, you guys go fuck yourselves. I'm out.
The next speaker is Kim McPhail, to be followed by. Oh, okay, your name's on the card, so you're not speaking? Okay. The next speaker is Chris Pito, to be followed by Mike Nino. Or Nino, sorry.
I'd like to thank the mayor, members of council, and staff for giving me an opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Chris Pito. I'm the owner and principal of 5th Street Development, a ground-up commercial real estate company specializing in tenant-driven daily needs retail projects. I am and have been a development consultant and preferred developer for several publicly traded Fortune 500 companies and have managed and developed over 1 million square feet of ground-up retail in over 30 communities, counties, and unincorporated communities throughout California. The rules and direction from the City of Hollister have been in constant flux because of the city's general plan 2040 update, 6-cycle housing element, ordinance update, zoning changes, plus as of tonight, there's a third city manager in the past 6 months. After spending over $100,000 in architect, engineering, consultant fees, my entitlement expert was informed last Thursday the city would not accept a planning application. Needless to say, I've been confused and frustrated at my inability to even submit an application for a new project in the city. I'm proposing spending millions of dollars invested directly into the community, hiring local trades, improving public improvements, including the 4th Street plan, providing new amenities, increased tax revenue, job creation, and creating synergy in an otherwise underserviced part of your community. But I can't file an application. On July 25th, 2025, I spoke with then City Manager David Marioni regarding the project and was given direction. The project is and was zoned mixed use and would be allowed subject to a CUP and site plan architectural review. Last week, my land use expert met with staff and was told the project would require rezone, general plan amendment, and other approvals, and the city cannot accept our application until the general plan update has been adopted because on August 4th, the council adopted a ban on receiving general plan applications. I'm here to request 4 things. I'm requesting the council temporarily suspend or remove a temporary annexation policy that the council adopted on August 4th. I request our property be removed from the 6-cycle housing element draft that was submitted to HDC in December. I'm requesting the council direct staff to identify areas in the draft general plan that will help facilitate the ability to develop this site with 100% commercial use and to accept and process our application for CUP site plan review and necessary approvals. And if necessary, I'm requesting the council add any of the above for discussion at the next city council meeting so questions could be answered. The housing element seems to be a big concern with the council and with the city. And I'd like the council to know that included in the housing element is a buffer. Currently, the city has a buffer across all 4 income levels of 100.9%. And there isn't a minimum buffer threshold for HTC to approve, but typical buffer is 15 to 30%. Removing our project would reduce it by less than 2%. Removing this from the housing element would be an immaterial change and can be done without resubmission to HCD. Regarding the general plan, we believe the change can be done with a text amendment. It does not require republishing or delay. We would propose changing zoning to neighborhood commercial. Staff cannot make the changes unless directed by council, and staff is concerned that a proposed change would delay the GP from being adopted. We're requesting your action on these matters. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Next speaker.
The next speaker is Mike Nino, to be followed by Carlos Rivera.
Good evening, members of the council and mayor, and I'd also like to extend a special welcome to our new city manager. My name is Mike Nino, and I live at 111 Best Road in Hollister. Tonight, I'd like to say a few words about the building department. My most recent experience with the building department was concerning the facade update at Heritage Plaza. Although that entire process was extremely frustrating, I want to focus on the experience of one of my tenants, Cita's Cafe. Cita's Cafe moved into the space formerly occupied by Calavera Coffee, who, by the way, moved out because he claimed there was so much trouble getting his coffee roasting operation approved by the building department that he just couldn't take it anymore. Anyway, Cita's Cafe moved in when Calavera moved out. Cita's occupied the exact same space. They made no structural changes to the space whatsoever. No plumbing, no electrical, no changes to the HVAC. All they did was paint, redo the floors, and decorate. They did get all the necessary approvals from the health department. They were informed they needed to get a building permit and submit a professional set of plans for no alterations. The set of plans cost almost $1,000, and the permit was almost $3,000, not to mention the extended time it took. This is not right. As you probably know, all submittals to the building department need to be done by way of an appointment. Recently, my office went to make an appointment, and they were told that there were none available until the end of March, 6 or 7 weeks out. Maybe if the building department would spend a little less time hounding people to get permits that are not necessary, they would have more time to service the people that need appointments. I am currently working on redoing and modernizing a shopping center in King City. The King City Building Department has been so helpful and accommodating to help push this project through. They realize it will be good for the people of King City. The difference in attitude and environment of the two building departments is unbelievable. I honestly don't understand why it has to be so difficult in Hollister. At the end of the day, we all want a better town. I honestly just don't understand why things need to be this difficult. Finally, I believe the whole reason for a building department is to ensure a certain level of safety and efficiency within our structures here in town. I believe everybody would agree to that. Unfortunately, what we have now in Hollister is more and more people are doing things without permits altogether, so they do not have to deal with the punitive nature of the Hollister Building Department. Where's the safety and efficiency in that? I really do hope that you will take these concerns seriously and work to take the necessary steps that will ensure a positive change for the residents of Hollister. I thank you for your time. One more thing. I'd like everybody that's here for this issue to stand up just so that they can
thank
get
you,
an
Mr.
idea of
Nito.
what we're dealing with here.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Nito. Next speaker, please.
Our next speaker is Carlos Rivera, to be followed by Graham Mackey.
Good evening. My name is Carlos Rivera, and I work for K&S Properties, a commercial real estate company here in Hollister. I'd like to welcome the new city manager to Hollister. I wish you the best of luck in your new position. The reason I'm here is to speak tonight is to provide the city council and the new city manager my perspective on the state of affairs of the building department. We currently have projects in various stages of the process. Some we as landlords choose to take on, and others tenants take on the improvements. What I have seen is a process fraught with extensive delays, a fractured submittal process, and communication that is lacking, or information that at times is being miscommunicated to applicants, resulting in further delays. A few examples. We just had a tenant receive a permit after more than 9 months for a simple remodel that was submitted in April of 2025 for a restaurant. We have another remodel project downtown that is still pending and recently crossed the 1-year mark without a permit. In another improvement, it took us approximately 3 months to change out a like-for-like commercial HVAC unit. 3 months for an HVAC unit. We also had to abandon another medical remodel project after much expense on our part due to the long delays with the building department, and instead we opted to rent out the space. There are many other examples, but I believe you get the point. Delays have consequences. Tenants are out money, out time, and are paying rent while they wait for the building department to issue comments, wait for the lengthy process to resubmit, and then wait again several weeks to hear back, only to repeat the process yet again. It's a frustrating exercise in futility. Meanwhile, tenants cannot open their businesses, contractors are on hold and are not being paid, and the city is not collecting any tax revenue. How is this fair? A thorough review of both the building and planning departments needs to be conducted. Measurable goals for improvement need to be outlined and held to, and quite frankly, changes need to be made. Yes, I do have issues with the planning department, but not enough time to share with you tonight. To be frank, city council members and city manager, the situation is bad and needs your immediate attention. This county is one of the fastest growing counties in California. People want to live here. People want to open businesses here, improve space here. Let's make it a more efficient and a more welcoming process for all involved. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
The next speaker is Graham Mackey, to be followed by Delia G., I believe.
Good evening. My name is Graham Mackey. I'm an executive director with San Benito Business Council. I've been in this position for 40 years, so I've seen a lot happen in the city. But basically, I'm here tonight to wish Ana Cortez a warm welcome. And we, as a business council, are main goals are to promote new business and to help existing business flourish. So we look forward to supporting the city council, the mayor, and Anna in trying to achieve those goals. We represent 50 companies and about 6,000 employees, so we have experience. I've actually worked in businesses here since 1979, so I know the city. Other people that are members of the Business Council understand how to run a business, so I would like to offer our assistance in any way to help resolve some of these problems. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker.
The next speaker is Delia G. Sorry, I couldn't read the last name, followed by Rob Bernowski.
Gutierrez.
Thank you.
Good evening. Welcome to our beautiful town. And we want it to stay beautiful. But I don't know, after hearing all these stories, and Rolando, Rudy, Ms. Mayor, you all know who these men are, right? These men have put a lot of sweat and tears into our town and growth, and are all self-employed, born here, raised here. I'm 70, and I've been in Hollister for 70 years. So is my husband. We're self-employed, been contractors for over 40 years. But let me tell you a quick little story about the city building department besides theirs. When I first submitted my plans, I was harassed by Kono. Kono overlooking upon my plans, making negative remarks, stating how whoever drafted these plans didn't know what the hell they were doing. I was submitting my plans to Michelle for the first time. He kept coming from his room to my plans, coming like a hound dog, this way, like a hyena, back and forth. I finally said to him, because he put his shoulder on me, I said, "Who are you?" He says, "I'm an inspector." I said, "Stay away from my plans." So he left, came back 3 more times, frustrating Michelle and me. So then, this is what he did. He said, for the 5th time, again, stating to me, "I'm an electrical contractor. I wouldn't do your job for no less than $16,000. Who in the hell did he think he was? He didn't know me. And I replied to him, "I know now you're not from Hollister. For you to make a remark, who did your plans? Your husband doesn't know what he's doing? Should have never said that to me, because I'm a lion out of a cage when it comes to protecting my husband and what we worked for." Okay? So then after that, I went home, told my husband, somebody just dishonored your integrity, Daddy. So he wasn't happy by that. Next morning, he was at the building department, wanted to talk to Kono, and so was I. So the conversation went on. Henry was not happy. So then Kono has the nerve to say what he said, okay? Next morning, we go back because Henry's not a fighting type. I am. So he apologized to Kono. And then in that moment, Gabriel walks in, trying to diffuse what he doesn't know what the heck. Finally, he says, to Henry, "Oh, well, he's just trying to help you. How are you helping me?" So what Kono said to my husband, "Let me please finish
Thank you,
this.
Ms. Gutierrez. No, I'm sorry, but we're
I
going
will
to give
throw
everybody
you through the window
3.
if I was mad."
Ms. Gutierrez, please, yeah, thank you, and please reach out to any of us to talk more about that incident, but we appreciate your comment. Thank you so much. Next speaker.
Our next speaker is Rob Bernowski, to be followed by John Coulter.
Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
City Council members. So, 2 topics. The first is, I don't know, I didn't follow it that closely, but I am so grateful that we have a great fire department. I was recently involved in a very serious accident, and the response time was incredible, how they took care of me. More importantly, my wife, who was not involved except to manage my personal belongings and the dog that was in my car. And I thank you greatly for that. Government is working when that happens. And welcome Anna. Ms. Cortez. But I am here over the planning department. I recently opened up a business, and I've never done anything with the planning department before, so I was new to the process. But what was most frustrating to me, everybody I came in contact was very nice and friendly, but I would get one set of instructions, bring a drawing on this size paper, or you just had to do this. I would go back, and of course they always wanted an appointment, and then say, oh no, it has to be on 11 by 17 paper and things like that. The rules just kept constantly changing. And I'm one of the individuals where I took a medical space building and did nothing, 0 tenant improvements. I didn't even do the flooring, I did paint. But I was forced to go through the building permit process, even though I kept saying, I'm not building anything. I'm not even adding shelving or anything. I am just taking from one medical office to another. And yet I had to jump through all the hoops that all these people are talking about. But what was most frustrating is after I had the building permit, they said, well, now you need an occupancy permit. I'm going, what? And I said, where's the application for that? Well, and I'm looking on the wall. There was none. And they said, well, it really is this building permit. And I'm just going, how can you throw that wrench in at the last minute? Because I was paying rent to Carlos's principals. So again, something has to change with this regard, because the one thing that I know is, except for one employee, every single one of my employees was working somewhere else out of town, and now they're working in town. They're off the roads, and they're being productive here. So, Mrs. Cortez, I really want you to look into this, because I'm just a CFO, no building at all, but I do have some government experience, and I am married to a government official, and I gotta tell you, there's something horribly, horribly wrong. Not maybe with the individuals, but with the process, because when the rules are constantly shifting, somebody like me can't invest the several $100,000s in capital that it's taking to build this business up from the ground up. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Brunelski. Next speaker, please.
The next speaker is John Coulter, to be followed by Jose Villalpando.
Hi, I've been a designer for 40 years now, and I work with building departments everywhere in a 100-mile radius. I may have drawn your dad's house, in fact. Bobby Pichet, is that your dad? Yeah, I drew his house, so you know how long I've been doing this. Okay. The reason I'm here and everyone else is here is because what we're dealing with is a high level of incompetence. It's incompetence, okay? No other building department operates this way. You can go in, speak to someone, they'll help you out, and you get stuff that makes sense. In this building department, you get none of that. Nowhere else, like all these people work with building departments all over the place, and this is the only one that acts this way. Everyone in here is probably afraid of retribution, you know, as am I, to a certain extent. And just, it's incompetence. It's incompetence. I mean, they can't even add, you know, so I don't know what to do. We're totally frustrated, you know, and I'm nervous about being up here because I have to deal with the building department. And, you know, I had a lot of good stuff to say, but some of these guys already said it. But it's just like they can say, oh, we're just going by the code. We have a process that we have to deal with, and, you know, like that. And you guys are unfamiliar with the ins and outs of building departments, right? So, but if you step back and look, why is it not this way anywhere else? Nowhere else is it like this. And look how many people are here over this issue, you know? And it really is from one person. And everyone we know who it is. It's Gabriel.
Okay, I'm going to ask the chamber to wait your turn. If you want to speak, please fill up the card. Let's give Mr. Coulter his time. Continue, Mr. Coulter.
Okay, well, that's about all I have
Okay.
to say.
Sure. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate your comment. Next speaker?
The next speaker is Jose Villalpando, to be followed by Peter Hernandez.
Good evening. Just real quick, I have three little small topics. One of them I think is the most important one. It takes 8 months to get a building permit to remodel a home that was burnt. 8 months for these people to be able to get a permit to move back into their home. The homes, I have 2 homes burned in April of this past year, and we barely got permits. Okay, something like that, they should be expedited for these homeowners. Okay, they're out of a home, they don't have money, they have mortgages, now they gotta pay rent. It's ridiculous. 8 months, and when you go to a different county, different city, Monterey, I just went, these homeowners bought their home in November, closed escrow the 27th, and this weekend they should be moving in already, because I remodeled their home in less than 60 days, a complete remodel. And in this city, it takes 8 months just to get our permits. That's ridiculous. Plus, over there, we paid $1,600 for our permits over the counter. Here, it was $16,000 for the permit for a remodel of a home that got burnt. It's not by choice. It happened to these people, and they're out of a home. Second topic I have is we have 12 lots on Cushman. Our permits expired, so that we had to go and do new code upgrades for permits. So now I got a bill of $40,000 for reading the plans for the upgrade because our permits expired. Plus, I gotta pay for new permits. We have 8 lots, but 6 lots, and 6 lots we have to repay $40,000 for reading the plans, and then for new permit fees again. Then my third project, I've been working on a shopping center, 16 acres, commercial. It's been sitting for 8 years. 8 years of paying taxes and doing everything, engineering fees, and we're still on hold because I do not have a complete general plan what everything is gonna go in there. It's impossible. Thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr.
Have a good
Villalpando.
evening.
Thank you. Next speaker?
The next speaker is Peter Hernandez, to be followed by Yolanda Leon.
Is Mr. Hernandez on Zoom? Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Hernandez.
Okay, sorry, I wasn't sure if you could hear me. Peter Hernandez, San Mateo County resident, former county supervisor, also a current business owner and sitting planning commissioner. I actually firsthand saw it, and I'm actually really grateful for it's an honor to actually serve on this commission because I'm really learning a lot of the nuances as a small business owner, what the breakdown has been. As I've shared prior, you know, as in the meetings that we've had, we've saw right away some of the bureaucracy and the issues. I've actually brought forward 6 recommendations to the planning department, ultimately to be voted on with unanimous approval, as like one recommendation where we actually ultimately bypass the planning department and make a quick appeal process. All that came with roadblocks. Thank you to the city council for considering and ultimately having as it has been mentioned, to have a unified planning commission and city council meeting. I really do believe we need to expedite that meeting. We need to bring this conversation into a full circle with more input and ultimately definitely input from the people that are in charge. Because I can tell you, as I've actually entered to even consider things to upgrade in my own business, you don't even have a planner that's available to the public. You have to go through an email. That email process is into a general mailbox. You're lucky if they reach out to you within a week. sometimes even 2 weeks, and all it is a back and forth. Literally, I started January 9th to do a permit application for a roaster in my own business, and it's been a month, and we're not even really talking because it's all by email. So it's very broken. One thing that I also think needs to be a highlight is the fact that you outsource to Four Leaf. I really do believe that's a big part of the SOAR issue. They've added a layer of bureaucracy that's only made things more complicated. Personally, I really believe, one, we need to expedite that meeting with with the city council and the planning commission. And two, there needs to be a complete restructuring of that department by firing first Four Leaf, and second, ultimately, to try to change the leadership at the planning department and make sure they're a lot more responsive to the planning commission and ultimately to the city council, as it's our job to represent you, city council, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. The next speaker.
The next speaker is Yolanda Leon, to be followed by Art Correa.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I'm here to talk about the process. So I was doing a little research, and I was researching the law, which I'd love to research law. So what I found was there's the Assembly Bill 2234. So that was enacted in 2023. And so that bill was enacted, and the intent was it to eliminate unnecessary delays in the planning process. So this is kind of what's happening right now. There are a lot of unnecessary delays occurring. There's another one called the Government Code Section 65943. So that one is the intent of that one was to streamline the permitting process. So what I'm hearing is we are not in compliance with those laws. So and from what I'm also understanding is we are probably the only county that is not in compliance with that law. So that's a real concern. I think that should be a concern to you as a city. So according to Government Code Section 65943, the city has 30 days to complete the permitting process. So the problem that we're having most recently is, which was mentioned earlier, is just to get the permit submitted is taking more than 30 days. So again, the intent of the law is to eliminate unnecessary delays. So we're basically undermining the intent of the law by not allowing us to even submit the application in order to start the clock on the 30 days. So my request would be for you to all to research the law, and I would hope that the city would want to be in compliance with the state law. That's basically all I'm asking.
Thank you, Ms. Leon. Next speaker.
The next speaker is Art. The next speaker is Art Correa, to be followed by Joe Tanasha.
Hi, my name's Art Correa. I'm a local general contractor. Hello, all. I'm here mainly to talk about, my customers, clients. I'm a small contractor, been here all my life. And one thing I've been addressing lately, I build homes from ground up, as well as swimming pools. Lately, we do submittal, beginning of January, get a March 23rd submittal date to just take in my project. I do jobs, so we just did one in Morgan Hill that we submitted the end of November, actually December. 2 weeks later, I get a permit issued. We do stuff in Palo Alto. I could walk into the city of Palo Alto, spend 2-3 hours there, and walk out with a permit in my hand. I do stuff in Los Gatos, we do stuff in Monte Sereno, we do stuff in the city of San Jose, even San Benito County. San Benito County is great. We do a submittal online. It might take a week and a half till they get back to us with the plan check fee. 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, I have a permit issued. But here, just to get my permit, we're project submitted, to wait till March, that's just completely unacceptable. You know, I really need you guys to do something to, whether it's bringing in another consult or bringing somebody in. I know we're paying big fees. My last customer for a pool project in this town, they paid $7,984 for a swimming pool permit. It was a small permit. It was a family of 5. They had a bunch of little kids. They paid $8,000 basically for their pool permit. Morgan Hill, $3,200. City of San Benito County, $2,800 for the same thing, same exact size and everything. So there's just, hopefully you guys could do something about that.
Thank you, Mr. Correa. Next speaker.
Our next speaker is Joe Tanasha.
Good evening, Joe Tanasha. I'm not a contractor, but I am a citizen, and I had to use the planning department more once. There's a fire in 2020 downtown, burned down a couple buildings. We had smoke damage in our building. Had to deal with the planning department just to complete the smoke damage problem. And the problem's been going on forever. In that deal, the building had been retrofitted in '89 for earthquake. Yet I spent over $5,000 having to get structural engineers come in there and look at the walls because I cut a hole 8 by 8 to put an electrical plug in. I had to they had to inspect the front. I wanted to change the front of the building. Not change the front of the building. I wanted to repaint it, leave the shape because it has the old shape, and move the door. That was going to take 8 to 12 months and $20,000. We didn't do it. We should have. And then we couldn't even open the business because I needed a special strap for a drain pipe for a sink. Went out to Ferguson. They had to look it up. Never sold one in San Benito County before. We got it. Took us a couple weeks to get it. We put it on. The next inspector walked in and goes, "What the hell's that?" So it's been going on for a while. Now, I put an application in on the general plan. There was 4 or 5 of us that put applications in, paid the money. You guys kicked us out and wouldn't refund us our money, $5,500. It was a map. It had neighborhood commercial. It had houses. And you took my money. The planning department admitted at this stand, they never looked at the plans. They never even looked at the plans, but you guys kicked it all out because of some way you wanted to do the general plan. Well, that's fine and dandy. Today, I called the planning department. But better yet, my son was with me. None of my family could believe what the city did. So I had a meeting right here, asked to have a meeting. We sat down there, my wife, my kids, and me, to talk to the planner about the general plan. This is about 5 months ago. She came walking in without a pen or paper or anything else. I said, "Don't you need a notepad to take notes?" "What for?" I'm an applicant, I'm a citizen, I'm trying to do something. I called the planning department today to try to get a meeting. The lady told me there she can't connect me with the planning department. I'd have to send an email to Hollister Planning. I said, "Do you have a name of who's doing the general plan?" "I know the name." "Oh, I don't have a name. I have no idea. I'm only admin. We just answer the phone here and take notes." What the hell are you guys running? I'm glad I don't run my business that way. There's the crust of the whole problem. But when a citizen can't even get to the bottom line.
Thank you, Mr. Tanasha. Next speaker.
Our next speaker is Julio Noriega.
Hello, Julio Noriega. Hi, Ana Cortez. Welcome to Hollister. Special shout out to Jim Pia. Bertha Reyes over there couldn't move in her burnt house for 6 years, going on 7. Rudy, I contacted you about. Thank you very much for taking that. Jim helped us to get some stuff moving along. Thank you very much, Jim. Unbelievable. He's the only one that could get it done. Without him, forget about it. The building department was lying to him, so they couldn't move in. Unbelievable. Miriam, she got a permit for an ADU. She wants her money back. Can you guys note that, please? She's not going to build it. She's scared of Gabriel Martinez. Who here feels they've been mistreated by the building department? Say aye. Who here feels they've been mistreated by Gabriel Martinez? Say aye. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Anna, welcome to Hollister. Mayor, Roland, Rudy, I heard some super good things about you. You come from a really good family. Deanda, hello. Please help us, guys. This is terrible. 31 years in construction, never had to come up here and complain. It feels weird. Hey, they're being mean to me, help me. Feels like I'm in high school or first grade. Miriam, are you gonna build an ADU? She's scared of Gabriel Martinez. Who knows Gabriel Martinez in here? Wow, he's popular. Interesting. Jim, thank you so much for working with us. He's the only guy that can make it happen. Without him, unbelievable. I'm the 5th contractor on the Canal Alley house, and we will not be, we're barely gonna get a meter release. We don't even have a permit yet. 6 months don't have a permit. They won't let me do anything. But Jim Pia helped us. Thank you, buddy. I owe you. Can I take you to lunch? I still have 45 seconds. Anna, welcome to Hollister. You're gonna love it here. This is a super great town. Right now it's out of control. Hey, a business sold across the street from Munzer's for $375. 2 commercials, 2 studios on top. Because the value has gone through the floor. The guy has post-traumatic stress. He just wanted to get out of here. He's traumatized. The building should have sold for 1.2. It sold for $370. I could have bought it. I didn't know. Unbelievable. Who would pay $375 for that right now? Delia, you would? Cash? Cash, huh? Or Bitcoin? Would you pay in Bitcoin?
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, guys.
Noriega. Thank you. Next speaker.
The next
Next
speaker is Bertha Reyes.
Good evening. My name is Bertha, and I used to live in Canal Alley. The house has had I have a scratch on my foot, sorry. Minor fire, and it's been 5 years, and I still haven't been able to move in. Every time we hire a contractor, the permits expire because they never pass the inspections, but they always do what they're asked to do. But every time they go to inspect it, somebody says the law changed and they have to do something else. It was just a partial minor fire, and they made us remodel the whole house. And we still haven't been able to move in. So far, the most helpful person been Julio. And I think that's all I have to say. And yes, well, all his crew, yes. But I speak directly to Julio. And
Good.
I feel that 5 years is enough time, more than
Too
enough.
long.
And we already want to move into our house. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Reyes. Next speaker.
Those are all the speaker cards that I have.
Okay, thank you all so much. I appreciate all of the comments. We really, really, really do appreciate it from the bottom of our heart. It is.
Was
One
it for
more.
this one?
Okay, we have one last. Go ahead and get to take the podium, sir.
Alfred Valenzuela.
Hello, I just got off work. I'm tired. Okay, so I got a
Sorry
little bit of
about that.
time. All right. Jim DeMonica had ordered us to put 2 20,000-gallon tanks of water on 1500 Nash Road, and now they're telling us that we are a disadvantaged well. Well, back in 1973, Nellie Pache told my father never to make it a labor camp because we were going to have problems later down the road. And now we're having problems down the road. So my water is supposed to hook up with the city now. We're supposed to hook up, and you guys are supposed to give me good water, right? Well, we're not a disadvantaged well. We have great water. 2 months after my father died in '91, Berkeley was I guess they were the they were overlooking the water, the districts over here, and now it's the Lower Ragsdale area in Monterey that's doing it. So they told us never to bring the water above ground, or else you're going to contaminate the water. Well, here we are, you know, like 45 years later, because I want to tell you that Paxton and David Pipple, they've been in control of my dad's water, in other words. I want to just let you know, I'm skipping around, I'm in a rush, you know. I got a couple things I got to say. So anyways, David Pipel and Tobias. Tobias was my dad's attorney with Paxton, right? They were the water lawyers of the county, and they never advised my father what to do with his water. We have a water transmission pipeline in front of 1440 Nash Road. And it said, okay, let me tell you, I snagged the papers from Paxton. Okay, I took the papers out of his hands and I told him, why haven't you given me this? 20 years after my dad died, I go, why haven't you given me this? Why are you holding it? So that's how I found out about the 40-year agenda with my father's water. This is a big deal, you know, and now they're telling us that my water's a disadvantaged well. Mark Cuban is supposedly working with you guys about my water, and he's saying that the last city council agreed. Now this city council disagrees. This is what Mark Cuban told me, the one that's ahead of the water project right now. Supposedly we're gonna hook up, but this hookup happened a long time ago. This happened in 2014, 15, something like that, when they started the West Hills project. When they started that West Hills project, they brought the water line down through front of my property, hooked up, put two 20,000-gallon tanks. Now, that's just enormous for my labor camp. They said it was reserve water tanks for fire sprinklers. We have fire sprinklers in my homes, and they're existing homes. They've been there forever. It wasn't a law back then to put it. Thank you,
Mr. Valenzuela.
I wish I had more time.
Yeah, go ahead and please reach out to any of us on the council or to Ms. Cortez about more information on your issue. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Our next speaker is Miriam.
Miriam.
Well, my name is Miriam Castillo. Lower more? Yeah, you're short. You're telling me the truth? Anyway, I'm here. I'm on behalf. Oh, good evening, all of you.
Good evening.
On behalf of Mr. Maria Cortez, and is the person who lives at Canal, and I've been working with Julio, who called me to help him with this issue. As you can see, I'm a senior, and I'm advocated for Ms. Cortez because she has been out of her house for how many years? 5 or 7? I don't even know. 7, creo. So she has been out of her house for so long. Yet she pays taxes. Yet she's from house to house because she doesn't have a place. Also, she is unable to help even her relatives. One of her sisters passed away because she was in hospice, and she could not even have her sister die at home because she had not a home. How can that be possible that they can be doing this to a senior, to an elderly? She's 72 years old, am I right? 72 years old, and from house to house, basically homeless. Where is the heart for all the people who are involved in these issues? What is it? Don't you all have mothers? Don't you all need to take care of the needs of people? That's why you're all here to represent them, to represent all of us. Please do something. And I also trying to build the EDU, and I cannot go through it because of all these hassles. I had to borrow money to be able to have this project done. Then I cannot do it because it's impossible with all these laws that change all the time. Not only that, when I started the process, nobody gave me a list of things that needed to be done. Go here and pay $3,000, $5,000. I spent like about how much money? Like 30 grand. About 30 grand, and I cannot even build a unit. I'm not a rich woman. I'm borrowing money from the bank, and the bank cannot even give me money because I don't have the means for it. So what is happening? We're trying to do something with our lives. We cannot do anything here. And we pay taxes. I volunteer. I try to save everything I can to make this town better. Everybody who knows me, I'm always volunteering everywhere. And what is it? Will you please do something to help these people in this town? Everybody is here complaining, and nobody listens. And I know the mayor, and I know Priscilla and Roland. And hopefully, Ms.
Cortez.
Ms. Cortez, you'll be able to do something. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I
Thank
also
you so much.
I wanted to ask, thank Robert, because of his report that he did, this issue to the canal was taken into consideration. Otherwise, another 7 years.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your comment. Any other speakers?
Those
Okay.
are all the speakers.
Okay, great. Thank you all so much for speaking. Okay, so Ms. Anna, welcome to Hollister. This is our city. They get super involved. We really appreciate all the comments. Yeah, we are listening. Thank you so much for all your comments. So we're going to move on with the next agenda item. So we're going to the consent agenda. Do any members of the council have any brief questions or comments on items from the consent agenda?
I just have
Okay,
one.
let's give a little bit of time for people to gather outside the chamber. Okay, I'm gonna ask people to have their conversations out in the lobby so we can continue with our agenda. Okay, so can we have some silence in the chamber so we can continue with our agenda, please? Okay, thank you all. Thank you for your cooperation. I really appreciate it. Okay, so we're going to move on to the consent agenda. And so do any council members have any brief questions or comments on the consent agenda? Councilmember Pache, you had a question or a brief comment?
Yeah, I just had a brief comment
go ahead.
for agenda item 7.5. It's about banning a platform that was meant to be, help us with all of these issues. It's a bummer that everybody's walking out, right, when we're talking about something that is pertinent to what we were just talking about. But enterprise resource planning software helps businesses and, municipalities like ours plan and do running their businesses. And we had a overly complicated, large-scale, difficult to implement ERP solution, and staff just identified that it was just way too complicated. We need something that's easier to implement, more focused, that can integrate across departments, be easier for the public to access and use as far as bill pays, paying for permits and fees and things like that. So I just wanted to give some kudos to staff because this is a great opportunity. By abandoning software that we couldn't even implement, couldn't use, for 4 years, cost us about $1 million. That's $250,000 per year. Better now than in the future. So I honestly feel a little bit sheepish, that we've been through 2 and we're on our 3rd city manager in a year.
Well, we had an interim city manager, just to be really clear, right? As we were hiring,
But I
we've
count
had
you as a
2.
full-blown city manager.
Yeah, I mean, we had to use it. We had to have an interim as we were hiring.
Right.
So yeah.
But I feel sheepish that I didn't ask questions like, after going through a year of tumultuous financial times, how did I not think to ask the question, how can we be leaner? How can we be more efficient? How can we continuously improve our town? And it reminded me of a guy named Edwards.
Council, can I just
Deming.
interrupt you, because this is a time for brief comments. So if you would like, we can just pull the item. Would you like to just pull the item, that we have more time to talk about it?
I just wanted to make that comment.
Okay.
Great job to city staff for identifying this and giving us an opportunity to remove it off of the budget, saving $250,000 per year. And I would like us all to remember Edwards Deming and Kaizen, which is a form of continuous improvement, and identify other ways at every level of this city, this staff. We can find other ways to become more efficient, save money, save effort, and continuously improve our city at every level of our organization. Every employee can find ways at every single day, minor improvements can over time yield major results. And this was a big one.
Okay.
But I feel like we need to implement our own Kaizen, our own continuous improvement program.
Okay, thank you for that comment. Yeah, always looking for ways to be leaner, and I think that actually was our interim city manager that found this. That I'm gonna say a big thank you to Mr. Pia. Other questions, brief questions or comments from the council? Let me check on this side. No. Okay, I'm gonna move to public comment. Do we have any speaker cards for this item?
No speaker cards for any of the consent agenda items.
Okay, so if we could bring it back to the council, any other quick questions, or can I entertain a motion?
Move to adopt.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay, we're going to move on to our next item. Let me get to the right place. Sorry about this. So we're going to go to item 8.1. Update sewer reclamation facility odor issue. Can we have a staff report, please?
Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
Council. My name is Javier Hernandez. I'm the new Public Works Director. Anna and I are kind of back to back joining
Congratulations on your promotion, by the way, Mr.
Appreciate
Hernandez.
it,
Thank you.
So I just want to give you guys I know that it's become a concern of late, and there's been a lot of questions kind of floating around regarding the smells at the domestic wastewater treatment plant. So we just put a quick little presentation together to kind of give you where we started, where we're at, and where we're going here in the near future. So again, the concerns were brought to our attention, and it's something that we've actively been working with our consultant. We had several changing characteristics that happened at the wastewater treatment plant starting mid-year last year with the addition of San Juan Bautista, and then as the plant adapted to that, and then we had the rain season, we had that rain event that was kind of detrimental to the plant a little bit. So we've been catching up, and our consultants themselves have been kind of making some headway in this. But this update is going to provide you current conditions, actions that are underway, and what residents can expect here in the near future. So what we've done, and you could probably see this adjacent to the road there, we've brought in some rain for rent equipment that's helping with the initial screening for the plant. So this was necessary because we were noticing a lot of towels and wipes and stuff that were getting by the system, and it was causing issues there. So that was brought in to help alleviate some of the issue. Additionally, the SSB pond has stagnant water, so initially was designed for 8 aerators, and we're currently down to 3. We're being proactive. The Veolia is bringing in 3 additional oversized aerators in, and they should be in here by mid-month this February. So that's going to help with that issue. In addition to that, with the assistance of Mr. Pia here, we've purchased a 40 horsepower pump. It's a chopper pump that's going to help us move towards removing that rain for rent equipment that's at the headworks. And then also in February, we're going to bring to your consideration the purchase of 2 additional pumps. So we have a 3-pump system at the headworks, and so those pumps have just lived their life already. So what we can expect, right? So as you can tell, there's already odors. They're pretty dominant if you get the closer you get to the plant, depending on the winds, how it's shifting. But as we first introduce these aerators, they are going to be stirring up the pond a little bit. So we are going to get more prevalent odors coming out for a couple weeks there. So until it stabilizes, we're going to introduce enzymes. And with these new aerators that are coming in, they're temporary aerators because we have ordered the replacement for the permanent ones. Those should be getting here in March. So in the meanwhile, what we're going to do is try to be transparent. Well, not try, we will be transparent, doing posts through social media. Again, if we're asked to come back and give you guys an update at council, we'd be glad to do that as well. But that's kind of our approach to getting this issue resolved. Again, we've been reassured that this doesn't have a public safety concern. They are unfortunate odors there, but it's not it really doesn't do anything other than cause a nuisance for the general public. And in short, what we're gonna be doing is just replacing the aerators, supplementing with the first initial aerators, then we're gonna come back with the longer approach with full replacement of the entire aerators. The pumps will be in place, the rain for rent equipment will be in place, and we'll move towards reestablishing full control of that plant. And now that's kind of the update. I'll be glad to answer any questions if you have any.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hernandez. We have any questions from the, go ahead, Councilmember Resendez.
Thank you, and welcome, and congratulations. Also, thank you for meeting with me on such short notice. So this has been an issue for quite a while. I appreciate how transparent you've been about like where we are with everything. I don't think that's ever happened, I'll be honest, in my time being here. So I feel like I have a pretty better understanding of what's going on there now because of you meeting with me, sharing with me all this information, and I feel pretty optimistic. The last time it was brought up, though, this is the one thing that always concerns me, sir, is that there's always this narrative from staff. I've heard it up here. I heard it from the council. There's no public health, safety, or concerns. What I would like to do, and I've asked for this before, is that we need some reassurance. Like somebody coming up here and just telling me there's no public health, safety concerns or whatever is just not good enough for me. I'll be honest, because there's people on the west side of Hollister that are marginalized population that have had homes, Habitat for Humanity homes built right next to the sewer. That to me is very concerning. I think it's environmental racism, to be honest with you. And those people are not here tonight because nobody is out there helping organize them and get them here. And when they did come before, it fell on deaf ears. I'll say from the council that was up here and from the staff. So you're new to the job. There's a new council up here. I understand what you're telling me, but what more can we do? Like, what more can we do? We said we were going to rope in the county environmental health. That never, I don't know if it did happen. It wasn't shown to us, to the public, that it happened, right? Did we test the water out there? It's next to a river. I know what you're telling me where the smell is coming from, but there are other issues out there, right?
Right.
There's issues with the tomato factory during the summer. There was also a sewer line that was found to be broken in the middle of the road there. I just don't feel like, not just with this issue, I understand where you're coming from and it makes sense to me, but I just don't feel like we've ever done enough to ensure that there really is no environmental hazards out there for the people of the west side of Hollister, who are typically a marginalized group of people in this community. So welcome. I think you have your work cut out for you. I appreciate how honest and transparent you've been, but please come back. Not just please, like you guys have to come back and you have to give us some reinsurance. And we have to have a plan. And you're going to have to educate people because it's not just an inconvenience, but the people that live in Richmark, they don't have to smell it, right? And these people that live on the west side of Hollister can't even open their doors or they're smelling it in their water. And it's not just the west side anymore. Like I work all the way behind Lucky's and that was the day where I'm just like, what is going on? And again, you guys were so gracious to address my concerns and help educate me. But we need to get information out to the public, and we have to ensure without a doubt. I don't want to just hear a staff member come up here and tell me that. No offense to you, sir, and you weren't here, like I said, but that's just not good enough for the people of Hollister. We have to do more. We have to find out if there's a leak out there. We should do soil samples. We should do water samples. We have to ensure that the people really are not at risk. And that falls upon us. That falls upon staff and it falls upon the council up here because this happens throughout the country, throughout the world, where marginalized populations are faced with these type of issues. And they get ignored sometimes. They get ignored by systems that ignore them, so to speak, okay? Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilmember Resendez. Any other comments from up here? Councilmember
Can we
Shea?
wait until, can I speak after public?
Yes, you can. So I have a couple I have a few questions and comments. So actions underway. So you said the aerators. You said there's some repairs that are going on with some of the equipment that seems to have malfunctioned. Is there anything else that needs to get done? Those are the two big things that I heard from your presentation. Is there anything else that needs to get done in order to stop the smell?
So those two items I mentioned there are directly going to address or assist in addressing the smell concerns. We are currently going through a master plan design upgrade. So we've just gotten started with that. We have a consultant, Wallace Group, that's going to be assisting us with that. The plant is 20 years old, and there is some infrastructure that could use some updating. Technology's advanced a lot in 20 years, so we're looking at not only repairing what's there, but programming it so it's cost efficient and we can work towards getting an improved plant.
Okay, yeah. So the master plan upgrade. So do you have a timeline for that?
Yes. Well, with right now, our focus is really the remediation of the smells, but
Right.
we're doing this in parallel. So we're hoping to have this update complete by the end of this calendar year.
The plan.
Right.
Not implementation of the plan, but the plan.
Correct.
Okay, so any way to expedite that so that so that we see something before the end of the year?
Well, there's certain items that have already been identified. So we are going to come at your budget to request permission to proceed with a couple CIPs that are directly going to impact the plant.
Okay, so I think that this suggestion by Councilmember Resendez about coming and giving updates, I think if you will include progress on this master plan, and my ask for you is to just do everything in your power, and I'm gonna look to Ms. Cortez as well for your assistance to speed that up. So that, I think the master plan will give, an idea of what it is that we're looking for to do any upgrades. I'm really glad that you mentioned infrastructure. Part of the reason why many of us here on the dais were during I'll just speak to during the campaign early on in our term, we were so concerned with growth was because we know that our infrastructure is failing and that we need to do upgrades, and continuing to grow at the rate that we were growing was not going to be sustainable with the infrastructure that we have. Plus, we aren't getting any kinds of funding or any other supports from other entities like the state or federal government that will help us to pay for some of the infrastructure improvements. So that was a big major concern. But this master plan, I think, will give us a better idea of what we're looking, what we need and what we're looking for. And this also will help to inform those at the state level when they are pressuring us to build more houses and we simply can't support that. So anyway, that's just my own little aside. Second question. Prevention. So, obviously, I appreciate your reacting to this, responding to us, working on this, trying to get a handle on this. But really, what we need is how do we prevent this? Because we know that even though this year seems to be a little bit worse than other years, that this is a constant struggle, and especially in that side of town. So, what can we do so that next year? Well, and in the summer, for that matter, we aren't back here again having questions about the odors.
Right. Well, we have had some change in staffing, so the wastewater treatment plant is a priority of ours at Public Works. So just with the investment of not only master planning, but also these improvements that came up under my watch, it's something that we're having constant meetings. We're meeting with the operators there on a weekly basis, sometimes 2 to 3 times a week. So just the continued effort, we got to value our assets, right? And so this wastewater treatment plant is one of our biggest ones. So we got to make sure that we maintain that.
Yeah. Okay. So I want you to keep that in mind as you're working on the master plan. That it's not simply about how do we improve the system or how do we fix what's broken currently, but that we're looking for ways of we have a section that says prevention. How are we preventing this? It just seems like there should be a way to just avoid it altogether. So let's look for ways to do that. The other thing you said that something about the odor will be gradually decreasing, and that they're for a short period of time. You said a couple of weeks. So are you literally meaning 2 weeks time? If we only have to deal with this for 2 more weeks and then we're good, did you mean that literally, or what is it that you're talking about in terms of short term for this odor to slowly go away?
So sorry if I wasn't too clear,
That's okay.
but around Valentine's weekend is when we should have the aerators in place. So
But the odors will still be there until the
they'll be-
aerators are fully functioning. Is that right?
Correct. And even
Okay.
after the aerators, they're probably going to get a little worse before they get better. So we're
Okay.
looking into mid-March when we'll start noticing
Okay,
dissipation.
so it's not a couple of weeks, it's gonna be more like a couple of months before we start to see improvement.
Month and a half.
Okay, I mean, I think that's really crucial, and if there's anything, again, that you can do to expedite that, please do that. Just
Madam-
because 2 months is like not, did you have a comment, Ms.
Yes,
Cortez?
Madam Mayor, members of the council, and I think that communicating this, managing expectations
Mhm.
of the folks that live in this area will be also very important. We
Yeah.
can talk about timelines here, but the ones who are really affected are the ones that need to know
Right.
what to expect.
Yeah, so
and who to
that's-
call if things are getting really, really bad.
Right, so I think the clarification about the couple of weeks, because if people heard the couple of weeks, they'd be like, oh, in 2 more weeks, this should be fine. So I agree, like, let's make sure that we're informing the public, and I do appreciate your full transparency on this, so let's continue to do that, but be really careful. I mean, I think we have to, thank you for that reminder that we want to manage expectation, we also want to get information. And then finally, I also had a big question mark when you said no health concerns, and I appreciate that, because I think that there are some standards that maybe whoever it is that's evaluating any of the concerns are, that's what they live by, right? It's the standards, they measure that standard. However, I do worry that there could be some, especially when you look at, and I don't know if this is the right word for it, but this is how I've heard it described, that there's sludge, right? That's just floating, and it's like more, you can see it more now than ever. So it's a huge layer of sludge. That does not seem to me like that it's healthy. So even though you can, in a slide, say there's no health concerns, I do agree with Councilmember Resendez that we need to get more detailed information, because that just does not seem like, it doesn't, to me, it doesn't, I want to say pass the snuff test. I mean, that's probably the right terminology to use for this issue. But however, it did, like, common sense. I mean, there's something off about that. So I want us, again, in all, effort to be transparent, let's make sure that we're informing the public about what are the standards, the health standards that we're measuring when we say there's no health concerns, and there might be others that maybe we are not considering that we want, but we want to be like comprehensive as we are evaluating this, as well as very transparent to the public.
Right, we're in direct dialogue with the regional board and also MBARD, who is overseeing.
Yeah, so maybe when you come for an update, Mr. Hernandez, some information about what the health standards are that are being measured. So when we say there's no health concerns, then the public really knows what we're talking about. Okay, so that's it. I'm done with that. And so I'm going to check again with my fellow council members. Any questions or comments? And then I'm going to move to public comment. Go ahead, Mr. Resendez.
Thank you. I got carried away on my environmental racism and environmental injustice horse, but I do have some other things that the mayor reminded me of. So we have not been keeping up with the sludge. Like, what are we looking at as far as sludge-wise? That sludge should have been getting removed either annually, biannually, and it has not gotten done in years. From my recollection, it costs like millions of dollars to remove the sludge. So we've got to talk about the sludge. We have not removed the sludge in years, and what's the estimated cost to get it out?
The last time we removed the sludge was 2022.
Uh-huh.
And typically, my understanding, of course, this is,
About
limited
3 to 5 million each time.
Last time it cost us $2.7 million.
Okay. And then what is our, because I know we have an impact fee that's dedicated to the sewer, right?
Correct.
How healthy is it? What's the number in there right now?
I couldn't provide an exact number on that.
We need to know.
Right.
Because obviously, like, we're talking millions of dollars here.
Correct.
So we need to know that. We need to know how much the sludge removal is going to cost. We've got to get the sludge removed on top of all of this other stuff. When you're talking about the master plan, I know the last EIR, when we talked about this 3 years ago, was 17 years ago. So it's 20 years old. Are you doing a new EIR, or are you doing a master plan? I mean, I guess you're doing a master plan. It's not an
Initially,
EIR, right?
Right.
So we haven't done a master plan?
I
Does it
can't-
include an EIR? Rod, I see you shaking your head. Please feel free to jump in, sir. You've got to get on the mic.
Yes, we have done master plans. You sequentially update master plans occasionally, and we're overdue. So
Okay.
we're going to do an update of our master.
Okay.
Okay.
And a couple more things, Mayor. So just so you guys are clear, like the public is clear and staff knows this, maybe not Ms. Cortez yet, she just got here. And the council might not know there's different times that we've had different smells, okay? Right now it's the domestic water plant. It's the one going out to San Juan Bautista. You guys realize that. The infrastructure there is not up to par. In fact, the infrastructure was expanded for more development, but all of the other challenges that come along with maintaining a sewer were not taken care of. So we need to find out how much it's going to cost us to take care of it, right? That's what happened with the last council. Aside from that, there was a break in the road going right across where the new roundabout is over there. There was a leak. We found a leak there, and there was, in my opinion, we were not ever given this information. There was never enough transparency or coming back with letting us know, was that an environmental hazard? Was there any impacts from that sewer break? We were told no, but we were never given the parameters, so to speak, like the mayor said. That was another smell. Also, on going down Graff Road, because of that hill, that slope, it pulls there. It pulls there, and it causes a really bad odor. So there was money, I believe. There was a plan to improve that. There was infrastructure that was put in place that was going to go in people's backyards and put all that stuff in place. That's important for you guys to know and to follow up on. The third thing is the tomato season. That's the one that we get every year. Ms. Cortez, you're going to have to get right on that. Every year the tomato factory does their season during the summer. They use our old sewer ponds, which is by the animal shelter. We are contracted with the tomato factory to do that. And if we don't stay on top of it, it can get really, really bad every summer, and we get lots of complaints. So I wanted to spell this out for you guys because the public needs to know, you guys need to know, and I spent a lot of time learning about this. And last year, for the first time ever, the tomatoes did not smell as bad as they've always smelled. There were some problems along the way, but we would call Mr. Marioni. He would work with staff, and he would work with the factory. You've got to work with the factory because they're contracted with Sunny Slope Water District, and they put us in a real bad funk one time. It was really bad. Really, really bad. So you've got to work directly with the tomato factory, follow the contract. So there's different parts of our infrastructure that are not being maintained. I'm just trying to educate, answer questions, and this is what I know. I could be wrong on some of these things. Yeah. Please feel free to answer the questions or correct me if I'm wrong. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to move to public comment, and then we'll come back for final questions and comments. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Okay, let's go to public comment on this item. Thank you.
Yes, we have one speaker, Joe Tanasha.
Okay, I'm Joe Tanasha. This is what I came to comment on. You guys got to do something about that plant. We can't even use the reclaimed water. And that is bad for the last couple of years. I can't use the water because it doesn't test. It won't pass the test, and we test the water monthly. And I believe the water district does too. So you got a problem. When I'm trying to figure out a problem, number one, I want to know when the problem started. Number two, I want to know why I didn't have a problem before. And number three, why are we having a problem now? And I think you guys need to look back on how the plant was run before, who was running it. I think you might want to look at finding somebody else and get things cleaned up. That plant was built with being able to upgrade it to, I believe, somewhere around 9 million gallons And I think it's only running about 3 million right now. It was running more than that a couple years ago, maybe 4.5. The busiest days are Saturday and Sunday when everybody's in town. So I know upgrades have been done since then, you know, in the last 10 years to upgrade it. And I think it's been upgraded to where it's supposed to be able to do 6 or 7 mil. I don't know for sure, but these are questions you need to ask. But, you know, what's your sewer reserve and replacement account have, and what's your infrastructure money that you've been putting aside? You should have been putting aside money for the last 20 years, every year, putting money aside to pay for things. And if you haven't, you guys need to start figuring out how to have reserve accounts to pay for things, because you're collecting a lot of money and it doesn't happen. But my biggest concern is I need to use that water. I want to use that water. I can't use that water. And we've had a couple instances where people almost lost their crops out there in the field because coming out of the plant. And a lot of it is on operations. So that's just my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tanasha. Any other speakers on this item?
Those are all the speakers.
Okay, so I'm going to bring back to the council for final comments or questions. Councilmember Resendez.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. The speaker is completely right. They cannot even use the water that's coming out of there. Why? My guess, sludge. So that's just a guess. First important thing is we need to find out how much is in that fund. We need to know how much is in that fund. And then hats off to you guys. You guys are going to have to attack this in a multi-pronged approach. And you just started working for us. So we appreciate you guys. I appreciate the work that you've done for me. I appreciate how transparent you've been in the first time I've ever even met you. So thank you guys. Please come back. Let us know these answers. And we appreciate the work that you guys are doing out there. We need to educate the public as well, because they are not going to be happy. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Pache, you had a comment?
Man, I've just got a comment, maybe a question at the end if I can think of it. It's, man, I've been out there about a year ago when we all basically got elected, and I stood right above the ponds, and it didn't even smell. So there are times when that plant is operating. The time I went out there, it must have been just operating perfectly, because I was standing literally above the ponds on these like walkways, and you couldn't even smell it. There are other times, it's been more recently, and it has it comes and goes. But those times, like, if we can like anticipate them, to City Manager Cortez's point, get out in front of it and like figure out like a timetable as to how to educate the public, like, oh, you know, we might be coming up against a smell here just because the aerator is going to be going on around Valentine's Day, and for 2 weeks it's just going to smell more because obviously we're aerating. It's just going to go out in the air. It's going to make an odor. We fixed just working together to avoid those situations where it just we're on our heels. So like working together, council, manager, and yourself to get out ahead of this so we can educate the public, about these problems.
Okay. Thank you, Councilmember Pache.
Yeah.
Any questions or comments, Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. I just have a quick comment. So I always like to just try to think about or point out the positive aspects of these difficult situations that, we find ourselves in. And I think it's no coincidence that you happen to take on this role at this time, just like I feel like Anna is here and we, got elected this last year. Last year, I feel like was kind of like a shift and change for a lot of people, whether it's professional, personal, that kind of thing. And I think this is a really great opportunity for you to get creative. And, we'd be happy to work with you. You educate us, just use your imagination, whatever it is. We could use all the help that we can get, and we're here to help you. And, we need, our residents need us, like, clearly,
Right.
just with the public, public comment, and so there's so much room for opportunity for growth and to change, to revitalize our town. And I'm really excited. So we're happy to have you. So thank you.
Great. Thank you for that. Okay, so this is what I'm just going to do. Mr. Hernandez. And I'm like really sorry. I mean, I am so happy. I have to tell you that I did meet you while I was doing the tour, and I was very impressed with you. So I was really pleased to find out that you got this job. And yeah, you had to jump in to this enormous problem. So I really, really appreciate that. Thank you for working really closely to try to get on top of this right away, and for coming here and hearing like about this, really difficult problem, and as well as hearing from us in the public on all the issues, the complaints, the concerns, all of that. It's not an easy thing to just just start your new job with. I do want to summarize, and this is for Ms. Cortez as well. This is what I would expect from the both of you moving forward. So what I'd like is for you to be able to come back, and I think every council meeting, until we get some resolution on this, I would love to hear you come back and just give us incremental updates on what's happening. So, and tell me, Ms. Cortez, is that realistic to do that?
Yes, it is, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. And it doesn't, I don't mean that you need to come with this elaborate presentation, just simply updating on both the progress and the challenges, right? Both of them. Being absolutely transparent. So here's the things that I would like to see, and what I've heard from the other council members that I would like to be included in these updates. So you talked about the actions that are underway. So I want to continue to get updates on, are those actions continuing? Are we having to do other things? Are they working? Also, obviously some updates on how the odor is, like we'll hear about it, we'll go by there, we'll know, but also just from your perspective, like are we experiencing what we expect? So today you said it's probably going to get a little worse if we just like think about that. It'll get worse, so we're going to go like up, like if we're looking at a chart, it goes up and then it's going to get better. Right. So I'd like to just hear from you from a like more of a technical side, where we're at in that curve, and so on the updates. The other thing is I do want to get more information on the health standards that are being measured when we draw the conclusion that there's no health and safety concerns, right? So what are we talking about when we say that? I do want to get some updates on the master plan. I'd also like to hear a little bit about maybe just like the details of what's involved in the master plan. And my ask that I asked earlier is I would like to see something in that plan that includes prevention. The costs related, so the impact fees, which portion of the impact fees come into a project like this? What does that equal to in actual numbers, dollar amounts? So if we can get that, I mean, that gives us a good sense, because we have talked about the need for increasing impact fees and all of that. This just gives us more information as we're continuing that kind of discussion of whether or not we want to do that, right? That just is more information. And then also, I think the seasonal issues. So we have this going on now. We have tomatoes in the summer. So any seasonal issues. What Mr. Tanasha, thank you, Mr. Tanasha, for talking about the reclaimed water. It is crucial for our farmers to be able to use the reclaimed water. It's not only more efficient. We don't waste as much water because we're using reclaimed water. We don't have to get like brand new water. We can use that water. So something around like, is that improving our farmers being able to use that? So if that can also be part of the update. And then I think that's what the summary. So I would like to, I know that's a lot. I know it's a long list. So I do want to ask that you let us know when you do your next update, whether or not you still need more time on any of those issues, because it is a lot. I acknowledge that, but I do appreciate you coming and talking to us and being willing to give us frequent updates until this problem gets resolved. And then I think in the long term, like once we deal with this immediate issue, long term, maybe we'll have like, quarterly updates or something like that. But for the meantime, I do think we need every city council meeting an update on progress, but more importantly, challenges, because I think it is important not only for us to know, but also for the public to know what the challenges are. This is not an easy problem to fix. So that it's important that we're super, super transparent about that, including the cost. Okay? Okay, final comment, Councilmember Resendez.
Thank you. Just as a reminder, we do not direct staff, so feel free to chime in here. We are asking for these things, but we do not direct staff. We're asking Anna to work with staff so that she can figure out what's realistic, right? We don't want to put anybody into panic mode.
Well, Anna,
Am I right
Anna
about
is
that,
staff.
City Attorney?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is our wish list. We're going to leave it to you all to tackle it and come
Yeah.
back to us because we do not direct
Okay.
staff.
Yeah,
Thank
well,
you.
and obviously, this was for Anna, right? This is what, yeah, of course. But more importantly, I would like information, like if you are unable to provide certain kind of information that we're asking for, the why about that would be good. Go ahead, Councilmember Pichet.
Okay, because I was trying to keep up with all of your asks. I was thinking you might have to rewatch this video to get them all down. Oh, she was doing great. Yeah. So I just wanted, because I might have missed it, I just wanted to. So Joe Tanasha had mentioned that they can't use the water because it doesn't test.
Right.
I'm wondering, to get out ahead of this thing, can we do whatever? Like, who's doing the testing? What test do they run? And what would make it their determination that it doesn't test or it's not testing out? Can we do that test that they're doing? And let the farming community know, like, hey, the water is testing now. You can go ahead and turn your spigot on to water with that water now?
If you would allow me, so council member, clearly we have to look into the public health implications of the situation. And you're right, the truth is we don't have necessarily the authority to guarantee that there are no public health issues. We need to bring those who do. And so I will make this issue part of my regular report to you at the council meeting. That's how we will address it. Obviously, I will be speaking to the appropriate members of staff to make sure that I am informed and educated in the topic so that I can share that with you.
Yeah.
It is important for us to identify a partner that can provide scientific data that proves that, in fact, we have nothing to worry about. So, we trust,
Yes,
but we'll
thank you.
verify.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. That's exactly what we would like, right? Because we do need to have that information. Okay, thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you at our meetings. I think it's good for us to get to know you better as well. So thank you so much, and I look forward to your updates. But please let us know as you hit any roadblocks, any challenges. That's super important for us to know and for the public as well. Okay, thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Okay, we're going to move on. 8.2, a resolution approving an agreement with Kimley Horn for the development of a safety action plan and grant administration for the Safe Streets for All grant. Okay, it's SS4A grant. It's a mouthful. Okay, can we get a staff report, please?
Hi, good evening. Hello, Mayor. Hello, Council, and welcome. My name is Cassandra Orozco, and I'm a management analyst for the Public Works Department. So I'm here today to discuss the Safe Streets for All. Okay, so just a brief summary in regards to what the Safe Streets for All is. Well, it's a federal program to reduce roadway fatalities and serious injuries, supports development of a comprehensive safety action plan, uses data analysis, crash trends, and high injury network evaluation. It requires public engagement and agency collaboration. It emphasizes equity, focusing on undeserved communities. It guides future safety investments and promotes Vision Zero aligned goals. So a little background in regards to the Safe Streets for All. Back in 2023, City applied for a Safe Streets for All planning grant, Resolution 23-82. July 2024, the city accepted the award of a little over $1 billion of federal funds with an additional $270 from local match funds, bringing the grant to $1.35 million. Staff went out to bid through the RFP process and received 6 highly qualified proposals. With the help of 2 of our City of Hollister staff members and 1 representative from the San Benito County Local Transportation Authority, the team selected a vendor that best met the city's needs for the Safe Streets for All action plan. Our selected vendor, Kimley Horn, brings 58 years of experience as a top-ranked planning and consulting firm with expertise in ADA compliance, pedestrian and bicycle safety, Vision Zero, action planning, capital project development, and grant support. The proposal cost $1.35 million with a tentative timeline of 15 months. So according to some of our 2024 Hollister Police Department annual report, there was 399 traffic collisions resulting in the city of Hollister between 2020 and 2024. So our next steps would be that staff work with our selected vendor, Kimley Horn, to develop an executive plan for city council adoption come June 2027, meeting all federal and state and local action plan requirements by focusing on locations with fatalities and serious injuries. So my recommendation today is that City Council approve the resolution to adopt an agreement with Kimley Horn to develop a safety action plan and provide grant administration and grant funding support for the Safe Streets for All grant. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that report, Ms. Orozco. Questions, comments from the council? This side. Okay, so do we have any public comment on this item?
There are no public comments for this.
Okay, thank you. Bring it back. Any other? Do you have a comment? No. Okay. So can I then entertain a motion from someone on the dais?
I move to adopt the resolution with an agreement with Kimley Horn to develop a safety action plan and provide grant administration for the SS4A grant.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Let's do a roll call vote on this one, please.
Councilmember Pache,
Aye.
Councilmember Resendez,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Deanda,
Yes.
and Mayor Stevens.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Ms. Orozco. Okay, let's move on to 8.3, special event and banner permit fees. Can we get a staff report?
Yes, so City Clerk Jennifer Woodworth brought this to you about a month ago. This is just kind of a recap of what the actual cost for street closure, actual cost to the city for various street closures. So I just wanted to give you a reminder of some of those different costs. And then the direction that was given by the city council at that meeting was to provide some more information to you, which was included in the agenda item, and then to that these would be phased in at a 10% cost. And so that's what was included in there, was that 10% implementation. So these are the actual costs of the city. And then this is what that 10% phasing in. Again, all of those that were listed, those are the example events that we had this current fiscal year, both already occurring and then planned for the upcoming months of this current fiscal year, and then what it would cost with the 10% implementation. Those were all nonprofit or government agency events, as 99% of ours are in the city of Hollister. And so that's why you're seeing it's 50% and then 10% of that, because we're charging 50% to our nonprofits and our government agencies. So that's what that number represents. So that's what those various fees are. And then again, some examples that I gave you last time. Total cost to the city for the high school homecoming parade, $59.80.91. The total proposed fee would be $448. Again, the 50% and then the 10% implementation. So this is for the first year. The Veterans Day total cost to the city, $21.80.19, and then the proposed fee would be $258. And then again, for an event that doesn't actually close any streets, I wanted to give you an idea of those as well. It would just be the application fee. Total cost to review that is $772, but the proposed fee is $189. So the idea is that these fees, if adopted, would not go into effect until applications that are submitted after the start of the fiscal year. So they wouldn't go into effect until applications submitted after July 1, 2026, and then they would be phased in on that 10% per year that the council directed us. And if you have any questions.
Thank you for that staff report. Questions? Go ahead, Councilmember Resendez.
Thank you, Mayor Stevens. So I thought that we had said we were going to entertain like a separate MOU for the HGA.
Yes, that is correct. So that's not a part of this. That's a separate negotiations process that HDA does with the city. And I believe that would be negotiated before these would go into effect, because that's in the next fiscal year. And I believe the current one goes through the end of this fiscal year. I'm looking to HDA Executive Director Okay, it goes through the end of this current fiscal year. So that's why we said we wouldn't implement these until the next fiscal year. So those fees would not apply to HDA if they are included as part of that negotiation.
Got it. Okay, so we'll have time to sit down and negotiate a separate MOU, because my concern is, obviously we pay the HDA to partner with us so they can put on these events. Why are they then going to pay us back? I understand there's a cost associated with it, but I just don't think it makes sense, and they bring so much value and have for a number of years. So I'm okay with adopting this as long as we enter into a separate MOU so that we can continue the lights on, the farmers market, and all these other hometown feel events that we've done with HTA for years and years. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Other questions or comments? No. Okay, so I had a very same question, and so just process question now. So we have this. You said that the desire to do something a little bit different with HDA would be a part of that, but that would be negotiated separately. So tell me the timeline. So then you will put like a draft policy together with this, and then come back with that, including something that's specific to HDA. Is that how it would?
Yeah,
move
absolutely.
forward?
So these would be adopted, and so they have to be adopted for the full amount of, and then also for that nonprofit. So these would be adopted. They would be included in the city's fee schedule. These would go into effect July 1st, 2026. Entirely separate process would be the negotiations and the MOU with the Hollister Downtown Association. And so that's a process that's usually gone through the city manager's office and having those negotiations. These fees are not the only fees that they have to pay to the city. There's various inspection fees and other things like that. Those are separate from the public event permit fees, which is what this is. So city manager's office, I'm sure, would be moving forward with negotiations for that, and then would include this as part of it at the city council's direction.
Okay, thank you for that. So then, is it then something that will be included as part of the contracts? If we have a contract with HDA and they're serving the public with using that contract as the basis of their service, so then would that be a part of that, or would that be a separate agreement? What would that look like?
Not being involved in the negotiation processes before, I can't speak directly to it, but I believe that you would include it in your negotiation for that contract. I know there's currently funds in that contract to pay the city, and it's more of an accounting thing of, yes, we pay them and then they pay us, but then it's also, kind of trying to keep some of those lines very clean and separate on it. But you could include that in the negotiation process with your MOU with them.
And do you know, is it an annual MOU that we, Omar? It is.
Yes,
it's annual. Okay.
Thank
Okay,
you,
good.
Omar.
Okay, so then I think that will be timely if the fees are going to be increased at the beginning of the fiscal year. Then it may, hopefully that it'll be about the same. Okay, that's all I have. Okay, so I'm going to move to public comment on this item.
No speakers present for this item.
Okay, back to the dais. Any other final questions or comments on this item? What would we like to do moving forward? Can I get a motion, or do we want to make anything?
I don't know. Do we vote on this?
Yes, it is a resolution.
Oh, okay. I'll move to adopt.
Can I get a second, please?
I'll second.
So let's do a roll call vote on this one as well.
Okay, Councilmember Pache?
Aye.
Councilmember Resendez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Deanda?
Yes.
And Mayor Stevens?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then we're moving along to our committee assignment. So this is when any council member will be reporting on any ad hoc standing committee that they are a part of. So let me check. On this side, I'll go down the road. Mr. Nothing. Ms. Councilman, appreciate anything to report?
I might need a little bit of help from the interim city manager, but we were at a former redevelopment agency. Maybe you can help.
Oh, it's the oversight board to the successor agency of the former redevelopment agency. I think that's all the words in the right order.
I think you got it. I can't remember why it was so hard to remember that. But Jim, can you, Mr. Pia, remind us what we passed, like a budget? I should have taken better notes.
Yeah, there were 2 meetings while he's walking
Well,
up. One on
just
the 20,
one
one
was
on the
major
13th, and one on the
was about
26th.
we passed their annual budget, and I was
The
just
first
wondering
one
if you
on
could
the-
remind us what that was called.
Yes, that we first passed the obligation from the State Finance Department, the actual budget. And then the last meeting, based on the direction and the input from Jennifer and her attorneys, based on one specific case and how the attorney's fees were going to be adjudicated, it had to start at the body so that Hollister can be paid back. And that's happened as well. Those are the 2 items.
Thank you for reporting out on my behalf. you know,
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. We always need help up here on the dais. Anything to report, Vice Mayor?
Nothing to report.
Okay, so I have a couple things. We had Tourism Advisory Committee last week. That's one of my favorite committees that I'm on. It's a great thing for us to do to promote tourism, bring dollars in. So that's the goal of that group. So we continue to work on stuff related to Hollister being gateway to Pinnacles that I reported on about a month ago, where we've adopted that as sort of like our motto. Like we are gateway. Home is our friends in Soledad who have the west side entrance of Pinnacles. They adopted home of the Pinnacles, so we could not take that. And we tried, believe me, and they would not give it up. So we're a gateway to Pinnacles. So the goal of that is to just use that as a brand for our city, to entice people to come here, to stop in our city in San Juan Bautista, throughout the county, when they are going to Pinnacles. So continuing that work, Visit San Diego reported on what they're doing, and they're working also on their organization and their partnerships with other visit communities to update their website, to put out material that promotes what's going on in San Benito County. So part of what we talked about was how should we as a county have signs that highlight some of the gems in our community, including places like Pinnacle. So we talked about, like, we have Pikes Peak, we have the Hollister Hills, we have downtown Hollister, we have the Mission in San Juan Bautista. We go on and on and on, all the little gems, especially the hidden gems that unless you live here, you probably don't know about. So we are working on a plan to have special design for signs that will help to highlight these sites, as well as directions to like how to get there. So like if you can think of other cities that you go to, they'll have a little sign that has a pointer that says you go this way to go to the movie theater, you go this way to go to some museum. So we're working on doing something like that. So in about a month, we'll be coming back with ideas for how we're going to move forward with that plan. The thoughts will be we might be doing it in phases because it will require some funding, and so we're doing some research on where to get that funding. But that's pretty exciting. I'm hoping that we see that. What we also think we're going to be doing, this is another idea, we will be doing a workshop and inviting the public to come out and talk about what are the places that we want to highlight and how do we want to do it through our signage, as well as how do we partner with some private organizations to help us to pay for some of that. So I will be reporting more on that. But again, this is in the continued effort to promote tourism in Hollister, San Juan Bautista, and the county. So that's tourism. 2 other things I just want to highlight. Not that we've had the meetings, but on Thursday we will have the fire advisory committee. So I'll have the report on that, and Councilmember Resendez will be joining me on that one. And so we'll come back with information as we continue to work with our fire department on plans to move to a district and other things. So we'll be talking about that, and then also. Vice Mayor DeAnda and I are both ad hocs to the Animal Services Group, and so we will have a meeting in March with that group to talk about some of the issues that have arisen around animal services, and so we'll come back with a report after that meeting. Okay. That's my report. Councilmember Resendez, you have one last
It
thing?
is. I think you got it backwards. We are now the home of the Pinnacles National Park. Soledad, Kingston, that's always been the gateway. Yeah, they've always been the gateway. So now,
Did I get that wrong?
I
Seriously?
think you got it backwards. So it's even better if you ask me. We're considered the home of Pinnacles National Park.
You're
We'll get it right. It's
absolutely
new.
right. Thank you so
it's
much.
new as of January
You know what?
2026.
You're absolutely right. I am so sorry for that mistake.
That's
but yeah,
okay.
we're the home, not the gateway. Soledad is the gateway. Thank you. Okay. So let's move on. Council reports. I'm sorry, city manager report. Sorry.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam Mayor and council members. I want to begin by expressing my sincere gratitude for the opportunity to serve as your city manager and for the very, very warm welcome that I have received from council, staff, members of the community, my neighbors, potential landlords. Over the next month, my primary focus, probably months actually, my primary focus will be listening and learning. Meeting with employees, regional partners, key stakeholders to better understand the organization, how we operate, and our community priorities. The transition period is intentionally guided by best practices, and I would say 90% of my transition will be guided by the first 90 days, by the book, the first 90 days, which is excellent. And I think that it guides me into having a thoughtful onboarding process, ensuring continuity of services, and setting a strong foundation for long-term success. As I step into this role, it is important for me to learn to appreciate our processes. Whether they work or not work, it is good to appreciate and to understand the organizational culture and appreciate what is working well, and as well where there may be some opportunities for improvement. Out of tonight's meeting, clearly a priority will be to outline a plan for addressing the permitting process. I am very grateful that the community came and voiced their concerns, and I will work closely with Mr. Powell to outline an inclusive process to determine how we will change our customer service approach, our permitting steps, and most importantly, how do we become part of the solution, not the problem. It is not about blaming, it is not about finding fault, it is about how we move forward, how do we improve, and how we add value to folks who are trying to do business in our city. I think it will be very important for us to publicly validate the comments we received tonight. I will reach out to each of you and have some conversations about potential next steps. I think tonight's attendance sends a strong message, and therefore it needs a response. And so we will be very thoughtful about how we respond, and in doing so, focus on how we can improve. How we got here, it's important, but it's more important to know where we're headed. So thank you so much.
Thank you for that, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much for that, and I appreciate you highlighting the permitting process and things some improvements that we know are needed in our planning and building. We had conversations before this about that, and we talked about this idea of having the joint planning commission and city council meeting. So, I think there's an opportunity there. We move quickly on that to begin to, or I shouldn't say begin, to continue the conversation, because especially the comments that we heard during the open public comment session, all of us have heard those. We have a lot of agreement. That's been the experience that we have had with some of the issues in planning, and we know that there are some technological issues, I think, that we need to address, or maybe actually put in some solutions using technology. I think that's a big part of our issue, and I also think that we need to look at possibly training and other things, also our systems. But I think that I'm really glad that we're starting. This is like I think what Vice Mayor Deanda mentioned earlier. I think we're right now have this great opportunity with you, Ana, because part of the reason why you were selected is because we know that you have a strong background in finance, and that's really important because we know that everything costs money, so we need to be as fiscally responsible as we can and frugal, and also because of your experience just in general in planning, as well public safety, as well as, Parks and Recs, and as well as, tourism, as I was talking about earlier. We talked about some of your experiences in other cities with that. So really excited to get started working. Welcome, and thank you so much, and I look forward to continuing to work with you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to go one step back because I realized that I skipped over the future agenda items, 9.2.1. And so this is just the one we're going to do a quick thumbs up. This will be like on our agendas in the next city council meeting or the following, well, or at least soon. So first one is an informational presentation on shields, and I think it's RMS. I don't think there's an I in that. Records management system, and this is through our police department. And the reason that I put this on here, first of all, I just want to, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the really, really dangerous incident that occurred about a week and a half ago, where we had to close down some of our streets after a car was hijacked, and there was exchange of gunshots with the person who stole the vehicle and who was hijacking the perpetrator of this crime. I just want to acknowledge and thank our police department for the way that they responded. They were super professional. Everybody was safe. Nobody was harmed. We know that San Jose, they did have injuries, and our hearts go out and our prayers go out to the officer that was harmed in that incident. We were very, very fortunate that all of our officers were safe, as well as our community. So part of that includes the reason that they were able to do that is their training, and so that's why the SHIELD program, I put that in here because I want to better understand what goes into their training, and also because we know that it can be very dangerous, and I think it's just better for all of us to be informed. Also, it gives us a better sense of how we can help in any way to improve our law enforcement response, and understanding how their records are maintained is also part of that, because we're not sure how that happens. Like, what is the process for when somebody gets arrested and it goes through that process? So that's the reason why I have this as an agenda item request. Okay, and I went out on a little tangent, but I just need a thumbs up if you're okay with asking that we get a presentation on the SHIELDS and the RMS programs from our police department. Okay, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay, next item for request is the sewer update. This is from Councilmember Resendez. So I don't know if we need that now that we're gonna have the regular updates, but I'm gonna let you speak on that.
Thanks. Yeah, I put it in, and then city manager notified me that they were gonna have it on this agenda. So I think it's a moot point, and it sounds like if the city manager works with staff, we're going to have regular updates on it. So I'll rescind my request.
Okay.
Thanks.
So we're leaving it on your hands, Anna. Okay. All right. Okay. So good. I think we are done now, and I think we're done. So we're gonna go ahead, Councilmember Boucher.
Can we just thank Jim Pia for getting us through this interim period? You did a fantastic job. Appreciate you giving me your phone number so I can call you and take you out to lunch here pretty soon.
Thank you. Yeah.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for that, because we do have cake, right? We have cake. So those of you that are here, stay here, because we're going to bid a dear farewell to Mr. Pia, and for the great job that he did for the last few months, and a welcome to Ana as our city manager, Ms. Cortez. So stay back, but thank you so much, Jim. I mean, you were incredible, and you got us through this period of time where we were working on getting a more permanent person hired. So thank you for all your hard work. We really enjoyed working. I really enjoyed working with you, and I think I can speak for the whole council that you really did a great job in helping us resolve so many issues that we faced during the last few months. So thank you so much. Okay, and yeah. So let's eat cake, right? Let's go. So I'm gonna adjourn and let's eat cake.